A fighter trains with the best and wins with a KO. Kelly Orchard's podcast for successful badassery. Kelly Orchard's apple a day. Good medicine for a badass. Turn up your energy with Fruitful Friday. Here's Kelly Orchard.
That's right. We're not only turning up the energy, but we are turning up the heat. This is Fruitful Friday, and I'm Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier. Thanks again, Mr. Ocean, with your ocean liners. Today is July 2nd. Yes, we are finally in the month of July. It is hot. I'm actually in Texas. That's right. I am not broadcasting and podcasting from Michelle's Place in Temecula today. I'm actually having some family time in Texas and enjoying myself. So this is me just kind of remotely sharing with you. Happy 4th of July weekend. It is the first Friday of July, and the podcast for Successful Badassery this month is going to feature the second S in the B.A.D.A.S.S acronym, which means successfully badass. That's right. So we're going to just kind of be focusing on your success mindset so that you can take charge of your mental health. And I also want to let you know this. I've got some Successful Badassery fresh Mustang Monday episodes all this month as well. Post-pandemic recordings. That's right. You know, it's like for the last, several months, the Mustang Mondays that I've been publishing have been repurposed. And this past Monday on June 28th, my first fresh podcast with my friend Virginia Earle published. And so these are all post-pandemic Mustang Monday episodes from this point forward. So they're going to have a little bit of a different format as well. But if you like them and you'd like to see the people that I'm having these conversations with, there are the videos that are published on my YouTube channel, and you can easily find it. Just once again, search my name, Kelly Orchard. That's just the name of my YouTube channel. And then you can find the playlist of Mustang Monday. And those are where you'll find the videos of Mustang Monday. And they're all fresh. This July, this Monday, I think I've got Joe Von G and Say Yes to Prosperity. So lots of great things going on for the month of July. Also, a little personal story. Well, I guess all my stories are personal, but, on a personal note, the month of July, in fact, this is the weekend, the anniversary. It was 15 years ago, this weekend, that I was struck down with heart failure. And it derailed my entire life, my personal life, my financial life, and of course, my broadcasting career. But I share a lot about that. It is what the catalyst for me to becoming a licensed psychotherapist, and then the evolution of what we're doing right here, this podcast for Successful Badassery. So to honor the change in my life and how to help you this month, the entire month, I'm giving away my book, Heart Lessons, that I wrote in the aftermath of my crisis and what had happened. I've always kept a journal. And so when I was looking for a job in mental health, and these people that were interviewing me saw my resume and wondered what happened when you see 30 some odd years in the radio industry, and then all of a sudden I'm applying for a job as an intern in mental health. So that was definitely the catalyst that caused me to write the book, because as I shared my story, these individuals would say, oh my God, you need to write a book. So I did. So this month I'm going to be sharing a little excerpts from the book, but I'm also going to be giving it away to you. The link is in the show notes. All you got to do is just click the link and give me your email address, and I'll email you the PDF. But meanwhile, on this Fruitful Friday, I've got some excerpts for you, and some basically, the same thing I always give you on Fridays, some weekend vibes and some fruitfulness. So I wanted just to kind of share with you just a small part of the lessons in surrendering. Now, Heart Lessons, I share 6 different lessons with you that I learned during the course of my heart crisis, which is why I call them Heart Lessons. And so this is from the chapter Lessons in Surrendering. Like I said, you can get this whole book ebook free just by going to my show notes and clicking the link and give me your email address. What is the meaning of surrender? It means to give up possession or power over, to yield or resign oneself to an emotion, influence, etc. Other words for surrender mean to abandon, relinquish, or submit. So these are my own words from my own book. So I hope that you'll download it and get it. I am very thankful that I already had the habit to keep a journal when my heart crisis materialized. When one is in crisis mode, all emotions and senses are heightened because of adrenaline. But when it subsides, you don't always remember everything. I'm a visual person, both in dance and words. And once I was hospitalized, I sent my daughter home to get some personal items for me. As we knew, I was going to be staying there for a while. The most important item on my list was my current journal. What I'm honored to share are the raw emotions, the fear, the uncertainty. When a person is entering or in a crisis, any kind of crisis, it is all too easy to ignore, rationalize, and even dismiss our immediate thoughts, feelings, and fears. When the crisis begins to wane, we tend to forget about some of the things we experienced. Mindfulness is an important consideration when you experience a crisis. So let's just define a crisis, and haven't we all been in crisis over the past 15 months or so? It could mean a death, medical emergency, natural disaster, automobile accident, job loss, divorce, addiction, child abuse or spousal abuse, financial loss, or feeling like you've just lost yourself. I would say that just about all of us have had to cope with and deal with and navigate through one or two of these just within the past year or so. So any event that causes one to feel a sense of anxiety, urgency, or fear can be considered a crisis. It's important to acknowledge it and maintain awareness of it and own it. And when you can finally do that, you have a decision to make: to either give up, fight or survive, or surrender. Deciding which course of action is a personal one. Survival is key, but with some crises, all you can do is surrender to it until the storm passes. My dreams had been derailed, but I was refusing to just lay down and take it. I knew I would be an asset to any organization who took me on, and my poor health was an obstacle I was determined to overcome. My primary goal was that I wanted to help people. I'd ask myself, how would this help anybody else? My answer would be, I'll provide jobs for people, or I'd be a really great boss. One simple comma changed my entire perspective. I don't know exactly what age I started to relate to Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. I remember feeling so afraid when the Wicked Witch, and so happy that Dorothy had the Scarecrow as her best friend. Before videotapes and VCRs and DVDs, we could only watch the movie when it came on television once a year. But even when we had the technology of the day, I would watch it as often as I could. I related because of a number of reasons. Dorothy felt alone on the farm. Even though she had family around and friends, she just knew she wanted something more. I imagined my 3 older brothers as the farmhand characters, who later became her friends in the fantasy: Scarecrow, Tin Man, and Cowardly Lion. Dorothy had a rich imagination, and I loved her ruby red slippers too. As I matured, I started to understand the underlying themes in the story. The search for one's heart's desire. The yellow brick road is the journey of our lives, with friends and mentors we meet along the way, and experiences that help us, and the obstacles that get in our path. I even started to understand how once Dorothy gets there, she thinks to Oz, where she thinks she wants to go, over the rainbow where dreams come true. As she learns to find her heart's desire, she didn't need to look any further than her own backyard, what was already in her heart to begin with. And then she had the power all along to find her heart's desire. It's such an empowering story, and I realize I am Dorothy. So, of course, the dual metaphor for heart was where I identified with the story now. After months of battling with my heart and doing all I could to ignore, deny, and rationalize my ongoing and unresolved health crisis, I finally came to the conclusion that the story of Dorothy and Oz altered my perspective when one simple comma changed how I viewed my attitude toward the heart crisis. In the film The Wizard of Oz, the Wicked Witch flies on her broomstick over the land of Oz and threatens them to surrender Dorothy or else. The entire land of Oz is hiding from the Wicked Witch, and everyone is trembling and terrified. One day I had this epiphany that the witch was my heart crisis and that I was terrified and hiding from it. Then I just added a comma and the message became, surrender, Dorothy. This is when I surrendered to my heart crisis. I couldn't fix it in my own time frame. I had to just surrender to the process and accept whatever was to come. God had something different planned for me. I was going to be in the helping field. Have you been ignoring your calling? What is that nagging thought or idea that continues to be stirred up in your heart and mind? Are you putting it on a shelf and denying its existence? You're part of my miracle. What it is that you feel you were meant to be. What is it? You do know what it is. I wanted to be a dancer. I danced all of my life. There were no television shows promoting dance when I was younger, like they do now. Dance wasn't competitive like it is, and as I got older, I had radio, and for the most part, I was having fun and making good money. The option to dance professionally had closed. Perhaps I believed my dream was gone, and as I got older, I neglected to build new dreams. The idea of becoming a broadcast executive was born from an industry that I had inherited from the family business. I didn't know any other field, but what was it really my dream? My sick heart was the best worst thing that ever happened to me. It caused me to build a new dream or reignite one that I'd been putting on a shelf for so long. Becoming a published author, speaker, and coach, helping others on their path of personal and professional development. It's vital for you to know what stirs your soul and journey toward it. It might take a while, but that's okay. It doesn't have to be a race, as long as you're working toward it. So here are some tips on how you can surrender or learn to cope with the event that is causing you distress. For me, I write. Keeping a journal has helped me explore my thoughts and feelings in a safe method. Perhaps keeping a journal will help you too. If a journal isn't your style, you could write a letter to your crisis. Treat it as if it's something you can yell at, be angry with, and then give it a piece of your mind. It's very therapeutic. Other suggestions to learn to surrender. Practice self-care. Meditate or pray. Research proves that the act of meditation or prayer lowers your heart rate and creates calmness. Hey, get a massage. Relaxation is essential for stress reduction. You might take up an art project. Being creative allows you to express yourself in a positive way. It also provides an outlet for anger and frustration. Frustration that is healthy. Talk to a friend. A friend who won't give advice, but will just listen. You could also seek a professional therapist. Mental health professionals are trained in different methods to assist you in coming to terms with your current crisis and can help you build coping skills. You could also take long walks. Exercise raises the chemical endorphins that improve your mood. You could also let yourself cry it out. A lot of people want to not cry when they're sad or upset or frustrated, but the emotional release of crying has a lot of benefits. Your current circumstance is not going to be resolved overnight. Life is not like a television show or a movie where the situation is resolved in such a short period of time. Time and change are the only things you can count on. But know this, it won't last forever. If you'll allow yourself to, let go of the rope and surrender this problem, the internal struggle will subside and you'll see your situation differently and you'll be able to start a new path toward healing and building something greater for your life. Once you make the decision to surrender, only then can you move on to the next chapter. So I want you to detect what is the crisis or life circumstance that's holding you prisoner right now. How is it impacting your daily functioning, your emotions, your physical health? How will letting go and surrendering allow you to change your perspective? And then what steps will you take to surrender to what you're holding on to so tightly, but serves no benefit for you anymore? You might write down 3 to 5 steps that you're determined to follow. So, you're going to hear this over and over again from me, to say yes to self-care. It's so important and part of your quality of life. Without it, life is nothing but work. And those who say, I don't have time to take care of myself, are fooling themselves. And they offer that they ever are going to lead a fulfilling life or a successfully badass life. Come on. Don't delude yourself into believing that self-care is selfish. It is the exact opposite. Taking care of yourself means that you make intentional actions that are centered around your emotional, mental, and physical health. You often hear it referred to as mind, body, spirit. It's not all about yoga and meditation, though. Self-care includes what you eat, how much you allow yourself to sleep, getting enough exercise, reaching out to others, setting boundaries so others don't take advantage of you, saying no sometimes, scheduling in some fun. There are many resources at your disposal, and self-care doesn't mean that it has to be an expensive trip to the spa. And then once again, okay, here we are with the weekend vibes for this Fruitful Friday. Once again, you're listening to me. You know that I'm Kelly Orchard, the Badass Certifier. That's kind of a radio thing. You come in after a song and you announce who you are again so that the listeners know who they're listening to. It's kind of like an old habit that's really hard to kill, you know. But, you know, as I unlearn old habits, I have to learn new behaviors. And this is something that I teach all the time. But for me, it's like a simple thing. This is like driving a car to me, you know, now doing these voiceovers. It's something that I automatically just am able to do. But there are some habits that are no longer valid and no longer apply. So I'm having to unlearn things. So weekend vibes for this July 2nd. Happy Independence Day weekend. I'm in Texas seeing family. That's right. I have my daughter and son-in-law and two of my awesome, badass grandchildren live in Texas now. And so I decided that I was going to take a week and come out here and spend some quality time with family. But meanwhile, you know, I've got to take care of you as well. So self-care, I am practicing what I preach. And I also want to encourage you to say yes to family time yourself over this holiday weekend. Alex Haley wrote, in every conceivable manner, the family is the link to our past and a bridge to our future. Be sure to cherish it. Your family could include your parents, children, blood relatives, close friends, and even your work family. How will you celebrate family today? Say yes to spending quality time with them. Play a game. Watch a movie, share a meal around the dinner table, have a conversation that doesn't include tasks, chores, or work that needs to be done. My family is the most important part of my life, and there are times when my daily job, tasks, and duties prevent me from even talking to them. Yes, it can seem that family can be a responsibility or an obligation, but family provides safety, fulfillment, company, love, support, and family provides a reason to live. Michael J. Fox said, family is not an important thing, it's everything. So I want to encourage you to practice some successfully badass family time over this weekend. So here's what we got out of the podcast today. You know, we went over a little bit of heart lessons, lessons in surrendering. This entire month, I am giving away my heart lessons ebook. So all you got to do is go to the show link and click the link and give me your email address, and you'll get the download immediately. Remember, we're practicing a success mindset throughout the entire month of July because the second S in BADASS acronym stands for Successfully Badass or Successful Badassery or Success Mindset. Either way, it's for success, and I want you to have all the tools that you need at your disposal for that success mindset. So Heart Lessons is a good place to start. I have lots of free stuff that I just give to you. And so, but yeah, you gotta click the links and you gotta participate. So first of all, I'm so glad that you keep coming back to my podcast for Successful Badassery. Thank you very much. Also, I want you to continue to come back. So this Monday is Mustang Monday. Don't miss it. And then in the meantime, you know, remember, you can always get your Badass Habits ebook by going to my website, licensedtobebadass.com. And on the show link today, I'm giving you a link to download the ebook of my my book, Heart Lessons, which was my very first book this month. In fact, this weekend is actually the 15th anniversary of when all this started for me. It started 15 years ago when I was hospitalized in heart failure. In fact, I think this day. exactly, January 2nd, because, it was right before the 4th of July, I think. I'm not sure now. Anyways, the 4th of July weekend, which is why 4th of July holiday is always kind of wonky for me, which is why I'm glad that I am in Texas seeing my family. Happy Friday, and here's Bobby to close us out.
Just as apples are a core ingredient to a healthy diet, Kelly Orchard's Apple a Day is a core ingredient to living a fruitfully badass life. It'd be nice if life had an instruction manual. Even better if it didn't cost anything. Well, look here. Your free Badass Habits ebook is waiting for you at licensed2bebadass.com. Now, go out and be fruitful.